Well, I was frequently in the newspaper at that time. The Ocala Star-Banner was headlining news of everything that was done in Marion County, and they had the head man from the Klan. He moved to Marion County from Polk County. He was giving out mail. He is now up in a place called just beyond Orange Lake. Before you get to Bowman. If he moved from there, from the bottom to that location, he's there now. And so there was an incident, I forget now what the specific incident, that Savannah had a lot of head time, so he wrote me a letter saying he wanted to meet with me. And so I wrote him back and says, all right, let's meet.
FAMU right now. How do you feel about what FAMU is right now? We know you're a FAMU fanatic, and you got the gear on right now. So how do you feel about the current state of FAMU athletics?
Thank you. Because FAMU, I have 3 or 4 sequences of my life that I've cherished very much. FAMU sits among the top of my experiences in life. It just happened that God put me in a place at a time at FAMU with a lot of historical persons. My coach, Alonzo A.F.J. Cathers, and Florida Coaches Hall of Fame at FAMU, Bob Hayes, who ran track and was outstanding in the Olympics, was one of my teammates. Knowing that Robert Arano also played professional football. I played with 19 players who played professional football at FAMU. We had an outstanding winning record, 2 national championships during that period of time. And it's not so much the football, it is the other things that I learned in that positive environment that has carried over to the life that I'm still living right now in terms of success and doing the kinds of things that you need to do to be successful, to include my civil rights work. All of that FAMU gave me a foundation to be excellent. And so I just left there this weekend, attending the game. FAMU played Alabama State, and I saw so many of my teammates from my era, many of them like me right now, they're slow walking, but it's still here.
Yeah. No, that's good stuff. And it's funny. So obviously, Eddie with the fam too, and we were just up there. So, and I asked you that question because it's a difference. It's a difference when you're in that atmosphere. It shifted, and they were good. They had good years that Eddie was there, but you could tell there's an expectation to win there now that wasn't there before.
Yeah.
And from what I'm hearing, that's the same thing y'all had. So it's good that they get back to that point. So I feel like I'm through my brother and through being there. I feel like I'm a rattler too. So
kinship,
right? yeah, dog. So all right, cool. So we'll get it started. So welcome. You have joined to another episode of the EL2A podcast. We have a very, very, very special guest that's joining us today. But I am Jamie Gilmore, your host. And to the left of me, you got Mr. Miles McConaughey, Mr. Crab, Mr. Military Man. He got a couple names, Mr. G. We call him Mr. Crab for a couple reasons. He can share that with you. And Mr. Military Man, to the right of him, you got Mr. Eddie Rocker, Mr. The Rocket. I'm sorry, I'm messing up. The Rocket. Again, so our special guest. Let me get back to it. So for our guest, this is a person that I've been able to witness for, basically my whole life. We grew up in the same church home. And I was able to be an eyewitness, and it still amazes me that till this day, it feels like he hasn't lost a step. I mean, he's still doing the work. He's still on the front line, which he's been known to be all his life. And he could tell us his age, but we got Mr. Whitfield Jenkins here joining us today. So, Mr. Whitfield, we appreciate you for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate you joining. And I really don't say that just because you're here. I honestly mean that, man, Mr. G, because it amazes me to go into a meeting and see you still in those meetings, because I'm like, it's two sides of it. It's a beautiful thing to see, and then the other side of it is like, man, this man shouldn't have to be in this meeting. but I feel as if you are, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like you are in those meetings because you believe that if you don't do it, there's nobody else to get it done. Is that correct?
You're correct, but I also have had the experience of knowing the value of working with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I was blessed to have a good community that supported me and the work that I did in civil rights. Supported me when I was a student. I was telling the story of my high school coach, Leon W. Watts, who basically was like a father to me and provided me a lot of times with things that I could not get from my family. And how those things are kind of really resonate and really motivate me today.
Mm-hmm. That's good stuff. So what we do, Mr. Jenkins, we always start our podcast off with mental health check-ins. This is something we do with our boys as well. So we always ask from a scale of 1 to 10, how you feeling? 1 being the worst, 10 be the best. We think as a man don't check on man. We was always taught and brought up to be the tough guy. No, don't show any weaknesses. And all these different things, but it's okay to be vulnerable, especially black men. We don't allow to check ourselves. So for example, we'll go this way and we'll finish with you just so you can get the flow how it go. So Miles, how you feeling today, 1 to 10, sir?
Feel a 10 today. Feel rested. Got a good workout this morning, so can't really complain. Here with my brothers and with Mr. Jenkins, have some good talks.
Yeah, how about you?
Yeah, I'm definitely a 10. I'm gonna tell you, I'm not gonna lie. So just like my like Jamie said, it's an honor to be up here with you. Hearing you talk about, so you asked me posed a question about Florida A&M, and it's one thing to be there, but then when you so for me, after I graduated, I think the level of respect and the level of just being an alumni, it never really hit me until I came back home and I started interacting more with you and Ms. Jenkins. So now, like he said, so when we go back, when we attend Fan Mountain, we go to the games, or I just go on campus, it's a different level of respect that I have for the school. And so I definitely thank you all for, I guess, shedding light on how important and how basically how important it is to have attended for the A&M. So I definitely appreciate you for that.
Okay, but yeah, definitely 10. How about yourself, Mr. Jenkins? 1 to 10, how you feel?
I'm gonna give myself an 8.
Okay.
And I'm gonna qualify that because I'm 83 years old. So it didn't know my last birthday.
Yeah.
And I have lived most of my life without having a lot of doctors' intervention. And I recognize that. And there are a couple of things that I experienced in life that makes you have a reality. I had 4 other brothers. I didn't have any sisters. And all of my brothers are passed now, except me. And so it causes you to do an introspect. A lot of times I do see my doctor on a regular basis right now to try to keep ahead of the kinds of things that come with 83 years. And right now, recently, I did have a issue that did come up. One of my daughters is a nurse, Rose, and she intervened real early, and it helped me to deal with the health condition I had, and so I'm back on the gift foot.
That's good. That's great to hear. That's great to hear. So now I'll finish it off myself. I'll give myself a 9. I guess as you guys are going off, I think it was Pete that was here. We say there's always room where you could do more. I guess I'm gonna go back at 10. I had a great week this week, and I'll explain more about that to y'all later. I just joined a network. It's called Leadership Florida, and so this week we were down in Howey in the Hills for the whole week. So for 3 days, networking with leaders from all across the state of Florida, man, and it's like you just said, the importance of being around good people, the team. You literally just said that, man. It's very impactful, empowering to get around other leaders and just feed off their energy. So I'll say I'm a 10. So, all right, but let's get into it, man. We got a historian here today, and we wanted to bring you on because there's something missing. Everybody knows it. You should know it. There's something missing. We're missing when it comes to our community of Ocala, Florida, whatever you want to say, the black community. There's something missing. So I kind of want you to start, and we can start locally because we could talk about Ocala. Back in the day, and you hear stories like that. Back in the day, how it was work together. There was black businesses that was thriving. Kind of walk me through that time. Your childhood or growing up. how was it back then, and then we'll get into what's the difference from then and now.
First and foremost, let me just thank you guys for the leadership and the organization that you're doing right now, because you're doing right now what I believe really truly need to be done and need to be magnified to address some of the problems that has existed for years, and for various reasons there have been obstacles that has prevented this on large scales. As you know, it's a natural for us in America to talk about, to start off with the big issue that confronted all of us, and that is slavery and the effects of slavery and with what that has done to our race as a people, what has done that to our country as a people. And you'll find that there are many people who put a lot of energy in trying to solve those problems. If you look back historically, there's a lot of people, a lot of organizations that has put a lot of effort into trying to find out what is it that we can do to abate, or what is it we can do to basically heal the wounds of slavery. And there are some that has had a degree of success, but a lot of people have not had success doing that. And I think you guys have found an answer in terms of the young people that come into your program, the kind of activities and the type of resources that is needed to make a real difference. And as you all are probably found out at this early stage, that one of the most painful things is to see a young person that is having difficulty, and you feel like you can't reach that young person. And I've had the blessing of God put me in some places to personally deal with myself, because I came out of that environment. I was, if you look back and go back and look at the physical home that I was born in, the home that I was born in, I have photographs of it now, did not have indoors toilets, did not have electricity, and those kinds of things. And there were 5 or 6 of us living in this very small space during that time. So if you look at that, basically you would say that, well, with it, you were more likely a statistic for the criminal justice system coming out of there, but it didn't happen. And so looking back on it right now, and having been a person who taught in the school district and had the experience of seeing other kids coming out of poverty and coming out of broken homes and other kinds of things, I feel that God kind of put me in a special position to help. And I'll give you a little something that you all can relate. You all know David Williams at North Marion School. David Williams' mother and my oldest daughter were high school mate there. They was in the same grade. And so I knew Dave very young through his mother. And when I was back in the school district had a program, Mankind School District had a program called Take Stock in Cheer. I don't know whether they still offer on that program. But I was one of the first volunteers. I volunteered, and David was assigned to me from 7th grade to 12th grade. And in the program, basically, I would go to the school 2 or 3 times a week and just meet with him, encourage him, and do things for him. And there was a period of time that David was going through some real struggles and hardships. And do you know that, as we know right now, he is in the system as a staff person right now. And I think that's what you all are undergirding right now. That's the foundation that you putting into these young people. 10 years, 50 years from now, that's when you get your reward, when you see them, like I've seen the ones that I had involvement with in the school district.
I love it. So I love that, and I think that you told me that before, and just a testament is to see. I'm pretty sure that, like you say, when you do that, and then you see it, we kind of think, because we deal with such an early age, you don't really see until later on the benefits or like you say. So we got 5-10 more years before we can see the fruits of your labor, until, lack of a better word. But I'm gonna swing it back to you because you answered that. I love that. But I want to know about the early ages. So for you personally, how did you feel? Like when you were a child growing up? Because right now, if you ask Janie Gilmore right now, how do you think about the Black community right now? I say we dysfunction. That will be my answer to you. So back in your time, how did you feel it was when you guys were growing up? The stories that I hear, the books that you have presented to me, you have. How was it during those times?
Real challenging, and I think true history, and there's a lot of people who are writing excellent materials now on Black history. They're doing excellent research to really put out the facts, and that's a challenge because if you kind of look at history back in my dad's days, my dad was born in 1881. He lives to be just days away from his 103rd birthday. And so my dad could not read, he could not write. Never have. My dad never drove a car. Okay. There were many people similar to my dad back during that time. And there was a historical reason for what had happened. But it's amazing to me that many of them was able to overcome a lot of obstacles and did some outsteps, such as my dad was able to buy land and build a home under what I just described to you. And then if you look right now at the young people, how many young people right now in today's time would have a real challenge to do that right now if you see the way that their life is and the way that they're going. Okay. Right. So it was by anybody's imagination, that part of life was tough. It was not supposed to be, a human being was not supposed to live a life of slavery. You can see their spirits, how they do what they do to break away from it. Some people did some desperate things to get away from slavery and then basically resist slavery. And then that's a story that's interesting. That's a story that's told by some of the early Blacks in Marion County. When you look at the ones that decided that they were going to do advocacy work to kind of show that they were not going to go along to get along and those kinds of things. People like Pennington Woodbury, Mr. Austin Malone, Mr. William Jackson, Mr. William James. Some of the people who I was blessed for them they put me at their feet and their knees to say they saw something in me that they were wanting to encourage me to do some activist work. And so that period of time carries some very outstanding personalities that we ought to be right now. Human people ought to have some knowledge of those people in order to give them something to aspire for. Matter of fact, I'll share with you, and I may have already shared with you all, when the young lady that we had here from here that did the outstanding ice skating championship, when they brought her here and did the parade for her and her teammate, I gave the school district a draft proposal. The idea was Marion County Schools has produced a lot of outstanding students that nobody mentioned, nobody knows their names, other than this young lady, in addition to this young lady. Wouldn't it be nice if we brought some of them back here in a real formal setting and let Ron Coleman, who is in the struggle for survival, the first Black to receive a scholarship from the University, for first Black in the history, not just Marion County, first Black in history to receive a scholarship at the University of Florida. Right here from Ocala, Marion County, graduated of Forest High School, came through the school system here. Nobody generally speaks and lift Ron Coleman up in our school district to our young people here. I get in the draft proposal, motivated by the way that they showcased this young lady. I gave them about 19 names of students that I knew, just as a suggestion. These are the kind of students, if you would bring them back here in a setting and and do media work and publicity work to expose them to the present student population. And the superintendent said, it's a good idea, Jenkins, and we're going to do it. And she passed it on to somebody else and died on the vine. Well, we got people like a young lady that I taught when I was teaching school, Daphne Smith, has 2 PhDs in mathematics right now. Well, her father has passed, but her mother still lives in Richmond Heights right now. And there's Dr. Emory Brown, one of the most prominent doctors in America at the major hospital in Atlanta, Georgia. He graduated from North Marion. He went to school to Pheasants and graduated from North Marion. I could just give you a list of students like that. And we have the other students that are not succeeding now. And then people wonder what would it take to kind of motivate them.
Yeah.
To a great degree, they need to start seeing somebody who look like me,
Your representation.
who has had success.
Sure.
A lot of them need that.
Yeah.
And I know because we got some, there's people that got right now that I taught at Howard Elementary, taught at Osceola. Matter of fact, Larry Fuqua that they just named the field after.
Mm-hmm.
Larry Fuqua was one of my students at Osceola.
Yeah.
And one of my football players. I was assistant coach
Yeah.
at Osceola back in my days.
Yeah. Hold on, Ms. G. So let me get to this. So and you said a couple things I want to touch on that because you started with the slavery. I know they want to, and we gonna ask some questions. But what we didn't do at the beginning. So this is a podcast. This is a worldwide podcast. So we're gonna be some people that don't know you, Mr. Jenkins. So can you roughly give us a bio of yourself? From beginning to the end. FAMU alumni and the things that you have done up to this time now.
Well, thank you, Robert. This is Whitfield Jenkins. I was born and raised in a little community on Highway 326 in Marion County. It's called Bethlehem. The sign that they got there, the only other institution in Bethlehem is the church and homes that's in the community, a very small rural community. As I told you, my father was born in 1881. My mother died when I was 5 years old. I had 4 other brothers. My baby brother was less than a year old when my mother died. My father never remarried. He raised us all boys there on the farm. There was a two-room schoolhouse right there and the church right there. We got baptized in the pond near the church and attended that school, that elementary school, until Pheasant opened up. Then we went to Pheasant. I graduated from Pheasant High School, where I played a lot of sports there. Went to Florida A&M University. I played the football there for 5 years, 59 through 63, where I had the experiences I cited earlier, some of the greatest experiences that one could have. I graduated from FAMU and went to the United States Army for 2 years as a military police officer. Went to Vietnam, and spent a lot of time in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Sandia Base, Albuquerque, New Mexico. I came back. I got married in 1969 to one of the most beautiful women that God ever put on earth, Loretta Pompey Jenkins. And from that, I got five children. And we were just in a great degree of family success. I'm very close with all of my family members, my immediate family members. I got 2 boys. They got PhDs. They finished from Vanguard. My youngest son, he teaches now at LaGuardia College in New York on biology there. And oldest son, Jordan Jaya John, he is in Camarillo, California. He has, at one time he taught at Howard University, where he now has his own publishing company. He basically writes and has a lot of publication at Howard. I remember 2 churches in my life, Bethlehem Church and Greater Hopewell Missionary Baptist Church in Ocala. Reverend Edward Bland now is my pastor. For many years it was Reverend George Lee. George W. Lee there at that Great Hopewell Missionary Baptist Church. I've done it since '84, and was elected president of the American branch NAACP. Shortly thereafter, I was elected third vice president of the Florida State Conference NAACP. I did both of those jobs simultaneously. Knew that, and I did civil rights work intensely until 2003. This basically it got to a point where my mind and body told me that I need to do something different. But I worked with my wife, Loretta, who was just as active as I was. We have just done so much together in that particular area. It's kind of hard to remember and describe all of that. That's kind of, there's a shield of, there's lots in between there that I can tell you about. There's the specific incidents that would blow your mind in terms of, I dealt with the Ku Klux Klan. I got letters from the Ku Klux Klan.
Gotta go. You can't briefly go over there. Tell us more about that.
Well, I was frequently in the newspaper at that time. The Ocala Star-Banner was headlining news of everything that was done in Marion County, and they had the head man from the Klan. He moved to Marion County from Polk County. He was living down there. He is now up in a place called just beyond Orange Lake. Before you get to Bowman, if he moved from there, from the bottom to that location, he's there now. And so there was an incident, I forget now what the specific incident that Star-Banner had a lot of head time. So he wrote me a letter saying he wanted to meet with me. And so I wrote him back and says, let's meet. And the meeting never did took place. But I got a copy of the letter right now. But Marion County, now you do understand that that's a whole nother story in terms of the White Citizen Council. I don't know whether y'all know this time. It was not sometimes because of marketing and pressure. The many times the Ku Klux Klan preferred to go under the title of White Citizen Council. Marion County, back during that day, basically the people that ascribed to that kind of hate, they carried the term White Citizen Council. And you couldn't tell, they had very prominent people that was members of that organization, and at night they wore the hoods and did what they did, and then in daytimes they were doctors, lawyers, and police officers and others. Okay, yeah. They had an office out on 40 that I think that office might be still open to this day. Yeah. And there's a historical story. There were the Freedom Riders. If you haven't read that was a group of people that's organized up north, and they went across the United States, stopping and various promoting voter registration, black empowerment. They traveled all over the United States. They came to Ocala. Wow. The location of where the Greyhound, it's closed now, called the Greyhound bus station. Right. Okay, they stopped there, and the police department, once they found out they were coming to Ocala, they called the council, White Citizen Council member, and told them, y'all need to go down there and provoke them to do something that, we have a legitimate right to arrest them. And that's what they did. They came, White Citizen Council came down and confronted the Freedom Riders and everything. They arrested about 4 or 5 of them. And there's a book that we arrested. One of those cases that's never been resolved to this day. Wow. One of those persons that got arrested. And I got a copy of the book.
That's crazy.
Okay. Yeah. So that was the environment. That was the environment that was part of what you dealt with here in my home county.
Yeah.
Man, I love. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, this is it's crazy. I never. So we're blessed to be able to see to live with our great grandmothers. Never sat down and ever really talked about the way life was back in the day. So to hear this now is very eye opening. Just to think that our family really lived that. Our people really lived that within this community. So my question is, like, what led you to be one of the people to tell the head Ku Klux KKK member, come, I'll meet with you. So what led you to be the civil rights activist?
I found out you don't think about these things. You just be who you are. There's something in your spirit that will move you, and you want to know about it until there's something that tell you need to reflect on. Okay, it's almost like you're compelled. There's a spirit outside of you that you wake up in the morning, you're not sure what you're about that morning. You don't mean to go out and do this and this, and you go out and something happened and you hey, now this is a good chance that something influenced you, some experience you went through. It could have been a ultra powerful experience that's beyond you, called religion. It could be a family influence on you. They cause you to do that. I've just looked back now and these things. I said, you got I go back and get documents, and I did this and I did this back there. And I said, you got to be kidding. You did this and this and that. I found that a great portion of my life, that's what happened. Not when I was playing sports. There was a lot of things that I did. It was just instinctively in it. I was trained to do it, and then that's another thing that repetitive over and over prepares you for instinctively doing. And then you look back and say, I knocked the ball. I never forget the first time I knocked the basketball. It was in Coach Gates' gym. Okay, now I was about 6'1", 6'2". And then never in high school that I knocked the ball. And we're playing an intramural game. But I had practice and practice and practice. And I never forget, I had a chance, got a pass inside. I went down and dunked the ball. Okay, yeah. So it's that preparation that had me prepared to physically do that. Okay. And I think it's the same way with a lot of mental telepathy that you go through, is that you put your, now, that's another thing. Now, the military taught me this. They were hard and unrelenting. And then basically, they train you in a way to kind of say, if you have to give up your life, you have to give up your life. They train you, they train you that way. And I saw a lot of soldiers when I was in Vietnam give up their life, and it always puzzled me in terms of kind of the move they made when they did that. I saw some came from out behind cover. They were safe, and they came from out behind cover, and they lost their life. But it was kind of training instinctively. We did do a lot of that. Yeah.
So, with that being said, I have a few questions, or a family questions, shall I say. So it was something you said earlier about how, back in the day, you experienced so many of our people with a strong spirit to overcome the adversity that they were facing. Your father couldn't read or any of that, but he was able to build a house, purchase land, all these things. So there was a sense of enduring spirit back then with the pressure that was being applied from oppressive society. Now, nowadays, you see fewer people with the spirit that you had or your father had and the various other civil rights leaders from back in the day. So why do you think that is? Like, what happened to that spirit that you all had And I agree with what you're saying with saying that it's something that's instinctive nature to just move. As a military man myself, like, I wholeheartedly, hear you. It is very repetitive and it's muscle memory. You just do. You don't really think about the danger. You know that's there, but you just do because it needs to be done. So where's that gap at with your generation to our generation? What do you think happened to that same spirit, or that just doing?
That's a real question that I think if we put more into solving it, and I think it's solved, because we have had, and then once again, when I told you about, I gave our name, the draft proposed. If you look at these persons' names, these people have succeeded at high levels in spite of discrimination. Mm-hmm. Okay? In spite of coming out of the same environment, sometimes coming out of the same home. Okay? So there's an answer. There's an answer. But sometimes I think what happened is that the forces that resist that change, and there are forces out there that resist seeing a change. Those forces continue to be present. It's kind of like they may change. It may not look the same as they did in 1800, but their mind, their spirit is the same. And so they are involved in that process while you're trying to work for change. They're trying to work to keep the same circumstances, okay? And what I am willing to say is that it happens in both black and white. We basically focuses on the white culture being the impediment person. But I don't see too much of us seriously looking intern. And that's what for instance, there's a couple of young men now that are in Congress. One is from South Florida. He's in Congress, young man. He's in his 20s right now. And when he gets to the microphone, he's basically spouting some of this nigger language to be there. We got a young man that he played football for Florida State, and he's in the Florida legislature now. I remember him as a player at Florida State, and he basically, when he gets at the microphone, so I can't analyze what's going on. What's going on there? They came out of black families, black communities, spellers. How is it that they see a different world? Those are the kinds of things. And if we tell you locally what I found here, and I had a great deal of success working with changing some conditions here. What I found here is that a lot of times that we seem to, as a group of people, we seem to put people in leadership that doesn't have a record. And then if we put them in and there's no record, what have you done before he put you in to resolve this kind of problem? Right. Okay, what did you contribute? And there's nothing. I don't see anything there. Why do we do that? Why don't we look for the people who are showing some sign that they care for some other, they get beyond themselves and they'll do this and that? Why is it that we don't have those in large numbers showing up, being in the people that we want to be upfront and those kind of things? That's been a kind of frustration to me on just observing the process and working with the process.
And I heard you, so I don't want to get too far. There's two key things you just touched on that I want us to. You say black people don't look inner, or what I heard we got a tendency to look at other folk and not ourselves. and then you went on leadership. So those two things I want to touch on. So first, I'm going to ask you about when we say looking in. I'm going to pose a question to you, and I want your honest opinion on how you feel about this. Do you feel Black people hold on to the past too much, that it hinders them from going forward?
Certainly. And one of the things that I found when in 1967, 68, that was the first year the Americana School integrated. No, I don't know if people know that. 67, 68 school year. First year the Americana School District integrated. Now, the circumstances was the Americana School integrated under circumstances. This document here says United States District Court, the Middle District of Florida, Ocala Division, United States of America plaintiff versus the Americana School District. Then it has a case number. This is the document that forced Americana School District integrate. They resisted integration. Here, this is the case that went all the way through until not too long ago. The U.S. Justice Department closed out this case here. But I came back here. I came back here after non-military service. Got a job at RC High School teaching math, science, and assistant football coach. And what I found out, that you got to reach beyond yourself. If you got people that is in that mindset and you exist, you have to go sometime where it's not comfortable. You have to be willing to go with nobody come to you and say good morning. You may have to be willing to go over there and say good morning, and then we'll move on with that, regardless of what happened. That was what happened to me. As a matter of fact, the principal, I'll never forget this. The principal at RCO at that time was an interesting person. His name was Bob Jones. Robert Jones was his name. Ron Jones, white principal. He lived down in the forest, he and his wife. And you can imagine that first year of integration, there was only two Black teachers at that school. And some of the teachers there was not happy about our being there. Some would not even come in the teachers' island when they had teachers' break during that period of time. But Bob Jones recognized that. He would come to me and say and encourage me, give me the encouragement, to be there. My point is that not all people are evil. Not all people are like that. And I learned that was a lesson I had to learn, because prior to that, my world had not been mixed, dealing with people. And so along the way, I grew as a person, and I hope that if you talk to Larry Fuquay, when they just honored the fear, his daughter knows me very well. I think Larry would say he has Mr. Jenkins who had an influence on my life.
And that's all. It's a beautiful story. So, I asked that question because I feel, even in the line of work we do, you see so many people that are searching. They're searching for somebody to blame for us not involved. And I always see, I know for sure, a person, you have to look in. You can't expect somebody to help you when you ain't helping yourself. And I think we have that crippling mindset. So we've been in meetings together, and it's the same conversation. And I feel like it gets a point of time when enough is enough. And you have to say, okay, don't matter who's going against us or who's not with us. We have enough resources. We have the right people to get it done. So let's get on one page and get it done. So even right now, for Ocala, Florida, and this goes into the leadership thing as well. You have a gentleman, Kane Davis. He's not from Ocala. We all familiar with Kane. He comes into Ocala, and because he sees a lack of leadership, to build a structure to try to help us to move forward. We should not be in that place where somebody that's not from here has to come here to try to fix problems for people that are here. You get what I'm saying? So there's a lack to leadership. So tell me about that. So even with the leadership that we here, what's the problem with our leadership?
Sure, I know Kane Davis. I met Kane Davis many years ago when I was first in the NAACP. He was EEO director for the city of Gainesville during that period of time. And the work I was doing in civil rights and what he was doing in civil rights was close together. So I got to know him. And got a lot of respect for him. He left. He left to the city of Gainesville. I think he went to California for years.
Really?
A few years ago, he called me and said he was coming to Marion County, and he wanted me to assist his wife in she was looking for an area. She's a doctor, and she was in that area of hospice, and I had been on the hospice board years ago, and so we were able to reach out and do something. And so I talked to King, and you're exactly right. I found when he first wrote a comment, he observed something that came out publicly, and he wrote a kind of response, and it got out, and then it seemingly upset a lot of people in our community that he would like that, but I understood where he was coming from. Okay. And it had to do with he was criticizing us for the lack of taking leadership and doing what we were saying. We were criticizing what he was suggesting, and none of you all seem to be doing it, and yet you criticize me, and so I wrote a response to that because I agree with him on it. But you're exactly right on that phenomenal. We have to, if you're quiet, if you're not willing to say anything. My wife just told me this morning we had a conversation because I'm in an organization, FAMU, called the National Rally F Club. Been there since 1980, and so we went to when we go to the reunions, we have business meeting. Okay, and those of y'all have been on meet until annually. So they give a full report, and so the financial report that was given was not of the quality for that organization, and so when they gave them, I said, it's difficult. I said, I looked at the report, and they're missing a portion. They ask a number of us to give $1,000 a year to support a number of things that the organization is doing. But nobody on the report they should list this. Okay, I said, it ain't. How could you? How could you expect people to give $1,000 a year and the society is just like, because we got a guy, that he gives. They say he give $100,000. He's built an endowment, so he give $100,000. He and his wife got an endowment where they put that in an interest fund, and then they give their interest off of it in order to keep. So he was in the meeting, and I mentioned, I said, it seems as if that we don't give enough spotlight on somebody doing something like this. And so the president tried to kind of rush past, not entertaining in much of a discussion. And the guy, he's sitting there, he lives in North Carolina. And the president was trying to act as if what we was doing was small stuff. And the guy said, no. He said, watch me in glory. Yeah, I want you to have it. I'm giving this amount of money. Look here. Don't try to minimize. Yeah. So you're exactly right. That's an area here. And I tried to work with Republicans, Democrats, anybody that's going to do something to build West Ocala. If you look at, and the document you got that city manager gave you, and then you look back, there's a history. In 1994, we created an organization called Great Ocala Community Development Corporation. Every one of the apartment complexes that you see in West Ocala, Flower Park, Mission Station, I know it was. If you go back and look at it, we had a relationship with that developer, John Curtis, at the organization. He built those apartments in conjunction with a relationship he had with us. When they constructed them, you go out there and see the sign, Great Ocala Community Development, our names on the side. And so you have to, it's a lot of history in terms of why he did that, why was the businessman come to our organization. He needed us for tax credits. Okay, and as a result of that, we got rewarded sometimes for an amount of money, sometimes it was the other thing. Matter of fact, at one point, we almost came to a deal where we almost made, we were going to get maybe like 10% of the rent collected for life of the apartment. We almost got into that deal with John Curtis. Right now, I'm working with Elgin Kellogg, who he's kind of working with still right now, trying to revive that organization. You know, the property that I was telling you all about, the building that we were. Right. We got our RFP into the city for the second time right now, for the city to give that property back to us, and we're going to build a building on there. It will be a building that will focus on economic development for some individual, some organization. That's the way we're going right now with that. So it's amazing to me kind of how, looking back on history and looking forward on, presently, what some possibilities are. The other person that y'all worked with, Barbara Brooks, Barbara Brooks, she and I are leading this project I'm talking about.
So you all, we thank you for tuning in. If you haven't, like, subscribe, comment. Again, from our guests to everybody that we have in here on this podcast, you're going to be able to get that information. So if you haven't, this information that we got today, we're going to dive deeper into Mr. Jenkins, get some more resources and information out of him. But again, the EL2A podcast, we'll see you next week.